What we found here is grapevines. Now you got to be careful because you have moon seed, which looks just like grapevines. You can tell the difference because here's one of them. You see how this comes out and it wraps around? Moon seed doesn't have that. Okay. Moon seed looks a lot like grapevine does. The fruit looks the same. If you get into the wild grapes though, the wild grapes will actually have seeds inside of them, probably 2 to 3, 4 seeds inside of it. Moon seed, they call it moon seed because it has only 1 seed in it, and it looks like a crescent moon, and that's why they call it moon seed. But I'm going to show you how to get some water. We are out by the quad trails, no doubt. It's about 80,000 acres of state land out here. You can use your knife. I'm going to try this thing. I've never really spent much time with this, so I want to try it. Okay, now you don't want to cut too deep, because if you cut too deep, the water is actually flowing through these vines, and it's between the inner bark and the outer bark. If you cut too deep, then it'll automatically shut it off and you won't get any water out of it, okay? But all you want to do is get yourself a spot. Let's try this spot. There we go. It actually comes out of there pretty good. You could probably fill a few bottles with it. But the taste of this water, if you taste it, is extremely clean. It's got a pretty good drip coming out of it. Oh yeah. So if you're in the woods and you don't have water, just a little trick. Well, we found a white pine tree, and it's kind of what we were looking for here. This is going to be, Aaron's already made our spindle for us, and he smoothed it out a little bit. We want to make sure that you have all the burrs off from your spindle, or else it's going to play heck on your fingers or your hands later on. So we want to just touch it up, make sure that we have nothing on there first of all that can rough up your hands. Aaron did a fine job though. Looks like he got most of it. Alright, so something that might help you if you're having a hard time with starting a fire with a spindle is to find one of these white pine trees. Now you can find everybody probably knows what a pine tree looks like, but a white pine you'll know because if you look at the needles on it, something cool that helps me remember is just take one of these pods off from it, and you can spell white. W-H-I-T-E. 5 needles. But what we want to do is we want to see where, you see right here where it kind of got, it's wounded, bleeding some sap out of it. So what I want to do is I want to just take that spindle, just get a little bit on there, not a lot. You don't want it to be so your hands stick to it. You just want it to be tacky, okay? And if you, sometimes you can find like a ball of sap, and you can put that right on your stick for later. But what I'm doing is I'm just taking some of the sap and running it down so that it's tacky. Okay, my hands won't stick to it. If you get too much on there, then your hands will start to blister. Okay, so you just want it to feel tacky, and that's going to help you when you start putting down pressure on it. Other than that, Aaron's already got the sides rounded off on it. Looks good. We got our board. Got something to catch. This is an extra piece of the board that Aaron split, and that's going to catch our dust in it. So I think we're good now. Let's go. Okay, preparing to start a fire. Okay, make sure you have everything right, because you don't want to be trying this 2-3 times. Okay, you want it one good simple time. The best thing that you can do is just make sure that everything is made right. Let's go over some things real quick. Okay, first of all, we have a board here that we can catch our dust on. We have our hearth board that Aaron made. Okay, we've got our spindle that Aaron made, and it's already got the tackiness to it from the sap from the white pine. I'm not really looking to start a fire right now. If you look around a little bit, we got some looks like some rain clouds. Okay, I don't know, it might clear up, but it might not. So what I'm looking for is, we picked up this hoof earlier. I'm looking to maybe start that. Okay, just get it smothering, some smoke coming out of it, so that way we can, when it's time to start a fire, we've already got something started here. Okay, so making our burn, basically all we're going to do is we're going to put this thick end down. And you'll see it smoke here. See how easy it smokes? That's a good sign. Okay, that's enough. If you look at it, we've got our burn created here, and we've got our burn created here. Now all we gotta do is V it, put a notch in it, and we'll be good to go. All right, so now we got our board, we got our burn made. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our V into it. Okay. Here's the way I like to do it. People have different ways of doing it, but I like to come just off the center of it. It's easier to make it bigger than what it is to make it smaller. Put some pressure on it. So you marked it. Come to this side, same spot, see that little dot there? Put your knife in there, make your V. And then we want to just take that V and follow it down. Just like that. Take this V, follow it down. Now, take this, and you want it ultimately to be at about the center of your hole, okay? Where you left off there, and across this way. And that's going to be your notch, okay? Now, with your notch, you can use your knife. That's what I usually use, is my knife, but you can use a saw too, whatever works for you. And if you're using a knife, then basically what you want to do is just, once you get your V started, put it on there and let your thumb do the work. Just like that. Come from this side. Just like that. And then make it a little bit deeper. And then just keep working it. Okay, now you got your V in here too. A little time consuming, but start going in a little bit. Now what you don't want to do is you don't want to make it too wide, because if you make it too wide, then your stick will keep popping out of it. So once you get here, be careful. Make sure that you don't make it too wide so that your stick doesn't come out of it. A little bit at a time. Ultimately, you would like that V to come into your burn so it looks like about 1/8 of a piece of pie. That's looking pretty good right there. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not building anything. You're just working your notch. And that right there, a little bit deeper in that center. That's probably going to be good enough. And there's your V. There's your notch. Alright, normally I would take and have a bird's nest that I would make out of dry material such as leaves or dead pine needles, dead ferns, cattails. But like I said, we're not looking to make a fire right now. We just want fire making to be easy when we're ready for it, okay? So we're going to try just to light this horse's hoofs, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to expose a corner here. See, this corner is exposed now. And this works a lot like punk wood, but once we get a good ember, we're going to stick it right on there. And from a camera angle, you probably won't see it smoke, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't know, it depends on which the material that you get, but sometimes it smokes heavy, sometimes it doesn't smoke at all, and you can't even tell it's lit. But as it burns, it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're going to try and get our fire going that way. Okay. Okay. So now hopefully we can get a good shot here. Clean everything off. We don't want this to move once we get it going because it's going to collect our ash, okay? But what I like to do is I like to put my left foot up to hold it in place and don't let it move. And then I like to use my hands to actually let me try to, I've never really done this, but let me try to move it this way so you might be able to see it a little bit better. But the key is that we're not going to really go crazy until we start getting some ash build up in here, okay? So we're just going to take it easy with it. You can see that dust starting to build. Take it easy. See the dust forming? Once that dust gets up there, then we're going to work it hard. But right for now, we're just building some dust. Okay, we got some dust coming out. Looking good. see our ember. Then we're going to take that ember. We're going to try to here we go. And there we go. Now we don't have to blow on this anymore because it'll actually start burning itself, just like a piece of coal. It won't catch fire, but if you watch it, see it smothering, smoking. Now we'll be able to carry that around for hours, and then we can always use another one to catch it again. But that right there, my friend, primitive fire building with a hand drill. You don't find many people that can do that, but see the smoke? That'll just keep going for hours. Now if it starts to rain or sprinkle, we've got this going. Okay. Once this starts building up a little bit, it'll get easier and easier to start a fire with it. But here we go. Let's go.
So check it out. We have strawberries. And then you turn the corner, walk over here, and we've got blueberries. How cool is that? Well, I'm gonna snack.
Okay, this is a area that we were walking along and we thought might make a good campsite. We got that down tree right here. That'd be good for a roof. We'd put a lot like sticks, branches going across up and down there. And we got to get these ferns out of the way first. We'd use those for bedding, so we'd pile those up in a pile. And yeah, this is gonna be our campsite.
Alright, so we're collecting ferns. So we're going to show you how we collect ferns. And basically what we're doing is Aaron will grab it, put a little pressure onto it, and cut it with his knife. He'll continue doing that till he's got a handful. Now it's very important on these ferns that you keep a good grip on them. You can get slivers inside your hands from them if your hands are sliding around, so make sure you get a good grip and have a sharp knife. But we're going to go ahead and collect some of these. Aaron, can you show them how much you've got already? This is what Aaron's got in a short amount of time. So the plan is we're going to go ahead and take a bunch of these ferns down. We can use them for roofing and bedding. We've cleared out a lot of our ferns now and cut them down, and we've put them underneath of our log there that we're using for the base of our A-frame. But right now we've probably got about 6 inches of ferns down there. I'm sure it's going to compress maybe 4 or so once we start laying on it or going into the shelter. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start adding sticks to the outside of our base there, our main beam, and make an A-frame. And then we'll probably end up going back and carry more ferns inside to make sure that the bottom, the floor, is well insulated to keep us from losing heat into the ground. So once we get some sticks built up there, we'll get back with you. Well, we decided that instead of going with the A-frame, what we were going to do is we're going to put some sturdy logs up, and then start forming around those logs. So we came up with a pretty solid structure here. We've got some older wood, but that sets on top. What that's going to do with those, that's just going to hold the ferns in place. But we're definitely going to need some more bedding in there. More area. We decided the A-frame just wasn't giving us enough room in there. With any luck, this should be plenty of room for both of us in here. So we're going to go ahead and start filling her up with ferns and see where we go from there. We're just about done with our shelter. Just wanted to share it with you. Here's what we got. First of all, we've built it under a big white oak tree. So that way most of the branches and the leaves up there should catch the rain if it does rain. If not, we do have a layer about 4 to 6 inches thick on ferns over the top. Here's our entrance way right here. But we've got another 4 to 6 inches of ferns on the bottom, which will give us our insulation. Just a quick trip around. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much just a big hut. But that'll do her. So what is a good shelter? There's 5 ways that your body loses heat. The first way that your body loses heat is through conduction. Through conduction, that's where you have 2 bodies together, and the cold body draws the temperature from the warm body. So when you're laying directly on the ground, the earth is going to suck the heat right out of your body. So the best thing that you can do, even with a sleeping bag, it's not enough. Not when it's cold. You need to make some insulation between you and the ground. And we chose to go with ferns, but you can use pine tree, needles, boughs, pretty much anything really. Just create yourself an insulation between you and the ground. 3 to 4 inches is probably will sustain in most cases. The next thing is convection. Convection is air movement, which we call wind. In the wintertime you hear the wind chill. Sometimes it's not so much the cold that gets you, it's the wind chill that gets you, which is the cold moving. That's another reason for the ferns. Ferns are thick enough on top of our shelter to keep that wind out, and so that's going to protect us from the wind. Next you have radiation, and with the radiation, your body, whatever the warm object is it radiates heat. And what you want to do is you want to keep a roof over top of your head, and that kind of catches the heat, keeps it inside of your shelter. So we definitely put a roof over top of it, which is a ferns again, and it's insulated. The ferns are actually our insulation, so that'll keep the heat there. Next is perspiration. Perspiration is same as wetness in my thoughts, but you want to stay dry. And again, you stay off the ground to stay dry, and don't sweat. You know, take your time building your shelter. Take your time. Don't let yourself sweat. That could be bad news when it's cold out. Last one is respiration. And respiration is your breathing. Okay? So you breathe out warm air and you breathe in cold air. So one of the best things that you could do is if you're inside, cover your mouth. Put your shirt over your mouth. A lot of kids, when they're younger, they put their sleeping bag over their head or their blanket over their head. What they're doing is they're catching that breath of warm air and trying to breathe warm air back in. Scarves, anything along that line. Also with radiation, one thing I try to do is I try to bring a hat. Okay, I don't always wear a hat, but when I'm out in the wilderness and we might get some pretty chilly nights, I try to wear a hat, and that just tries to keep the heat. Your heat is lost, about 80% of it is through the back of your neck and your head. So wear a hat. But that's how you decide on your shelter. Also, you can make a decision on how long you plan on staying. If it's overnight, you might not want to put a lot of work into it unless it's cold outside. But the longer you stay, the more you could put into it. We're considering right now, we checked our compass and we checked our GPS. We're about 2.2 miles away from our destination, which is my truck. And we can hike that in one day. Right now we're considering on maybe staying both nights right here in this shelter, maybe beefing it up a little bit, but if it needs it. But for rain, we've got leaves out here. We could always stack 3 foot of leaves on it, and that'll definitely make it so rain's not coming through and you're not getting any wind through. But some thoughts to think about if you're out there and you need to build a shelter. Just some things that might help you. All right, so when we started making our shelter, we took our horse's hoof, we dug a hole, and we ended up putting the horse's hoof inside the hole. Just for the reason that this horse's hoof, it once you light it, it doesn't want to go out. It's very difficult to put out. We've already changed it over a couple times because it's burnt through, but we've been walking for hours, so I wanted to show you. This is when we first lit the fire using the hand drill method. It was that small dot on there. Well, of course, this is a different piece of horse hoof, but I wanted to show you because this one also started as a dot when we transferred it over. But I wanted to show you how this stuff works. Just amazing. And so this has all been fed since we used the hand drill. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead, gather some firewood, and then we're going to watch Aaron start this fire up. Let's try this.
done with the first night out here. Pretty good, I think. We got a shelter. Pretty good shelter. We found water in the grapevines. Got a lot of that. Got a good fire going. It was a pretty good day. Got everything we need. I think our second night will be a good one too. But I think it's pretty late. I don't know what time it is, but it feels like it's time to go to bed. It's been a long day. And time to go to sleep.
Alright, every once in a while we're hearing a frog. You know, a frog means water, so you listen real close. There's not a lot of them, just one once in a while. So what I'm going to do is, we decided to come out and this stick here, I'm going to put a stick in the ground, and this stick represents where I am right now. Okay. Sounds like the frog's coming from that direction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another stick and stick it in the ground towards the direction I think the frog's coming from. Now in the morning what we'll do is we'll come out here, grab our automatic compass, and we'll use that to determine which way we need to go to find our water supply. Until then, I'm going back to bed. Good night. Alright, so last night we heard a frog. We came out, we set a stick up to where we were standing, and a stick to the direction that we heard it coming from. So now we're going to use our automatic compass to help us find the source of the frog. A lot of times you find a frog, you find water. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our automatic compass, we're going to turn it until that shadow hits our line, which is right there. There we go. So now we know that if it hits that line, this is north, that is south, that is east, and that is west. And the direction that we want to go is going to be right there. And so now I'm going to put a notch there. And now we know that when we have this line, or when we have this shadow on our line, we need to be heading towards that notch. And that will take us to our frog. So, here we go.
So while I was walking this morning, I found dew is all over on the grass out here. What you can do with this dew is, if you're in a situation where you don't have water and you need it, you can take your shirt and put it around your string to hold your belt, or you can tie it around your leg or something like that. You could just walk through and get a couple liters of water this way, just walking through, soaking up that water. But we're on our way to go see if we can't find where the frogs were last night, to see if we can't find any water there. So, but that'd be a good way to find water out here. Okay, so as we were walking, the sun reflected off something in the woods here. So we took a walk over and just happened to be some cans here. And there's something inside this one. It's a piece of aluminum or something. Some kind of metal tin foil, I don't know. But maybe we can use it for something later. So I guess I'll keep that and keep walking.
One more thing I wanted to show you here is we've run across some plantain. And plantain, you know, because if you look at the leaf structure, you've got your main crease going down, and then the others on the side. Three basic ones down, but they point back towards the center of the leaf. Another way you might know it is this. I'm sure you've all seen this before. Little bulb things. These are about as common as what dandelions are. You can find them probably in your backyard, everywhere, but these are edible also. Sometimes they taste like spinach. Sometimes they taste like lettuce. It's very unpredictable what the flavor is going to be like on these, but you know, for any issues that you have on your skin, as far as rashes goes, bug bites, even pimples, anything, cuts, you can take and chew this up and then put it on your cut or rash or whatever you may have on your skin, and it'll help it heal within 15 minutes or so. The itch or the burn, whatever it may have, the pain will usually subside. So something to keep in mind. Actually, you can make an ointment out of these too. If you take these and you cut them up and you put them in some olive oil and let them set for 6, 7, even 8 weeks, and then drain the olive oil back out of it. You can keep that olive oil and use that to dip on any issues that you have on your skin, rashes, burns, cuts, whatever you may have. But as a matter of fact, this one here definitely has a spinach taste to it, but something to keep in mind.
So we found some clay here. You can tell it's clay because of the color. It's the light grayish color, and when you feel it, it's really smooth. It's like a, I don't know, it's just really smooth. But here we have a whole bunch. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the clay and we're gonna put it on the bottom of the can and rub it like this. And it's gonna polish the bottom of the can so you can start a fire with the can. Okay, I've been doing this for about an hour now, and what you want to do is you get black in there, but you just got to keep going until you can see the whites of your teeth or your eyes. You just gotta be reflective enough so you can reflect a small part in the sun to start a fire. So it's pretty shiny.
I think that we found where we heard the frogs coming from. There's probably a little bit of a pond over there, but this ground is so mushy, it's going to be hard to get to them. So what I'm looking at right now is this cattail. Looks like it might be some dinner for us. So you can tell a cattail because because of this right here. You have to be careful if you're watching for the little ones. The little ones, you can also mistake them for irises. And you don't want to eat iris, but you can eat cattail. But the difference is a cattail, on the root down there, it'll be more of an oval, and an iris, it'll be flat. But before you start eating them, always look for that. Now, in the early spring, you'll have the male and the female end, and the male will be up on top here, and the female will be on the bottom here, and they'll be green. And you can take that and boil it in water and eat it, and it tastes a lot like potatoes. So that's one part of it. We're going to go ahead and harvest a couple of these and get something for dinner tonight. Okay, what we want to do is we want to take and dig. There we go. Get some of these roots out of there. And these roots here are edible. I'm going to set that off the side. Can't get a couple more. Oh yeah. Another thing that you can look for on these cattails is the center part. Oops. That right there. That is also edible, and that doesn't take any cooking. Yeah, kind of like a bitter taste to it. More like a starchy, but still the same. Very edible. Very good. It's actually got a pretty decent flavor to it. I don't really know how to describe it. It reminds me of when you see foxtail and you pull the foxtail up and you eat the very bottom of that. But not bad. Give us a little bit of nutrients. So we're going to take some of these cattails and get us some dinner for tonight. So, all right.
There it goes. Hold it just like that, buddy. Hold it just like that. Okay, Aaron's got the horse hoof smoking. He's using his can that he polished up with some clay. He's going to let this smoke for a little bit and build more heat and build more heat. Once that horse's hoof starts smoking, he's got his ember. Can you blow on that, buddy? Just to show him that it's lighting up. Is it lighting up?
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. There we go. So Aaron's got his ember now, and this is our horse's hoof, so this is going to burn for a while. We won't have to blow on it, and this is going to get our another fire going. Using the can that Aaron found and some of our horse's hoof. You can see how nice it is to have that horse's hoof around, but we've definitely got a good ember going here, so we're gonna back it on off here.
Okay, now we got this burning, and it's been burning for a little bit, and we're gonna try to transfer this into a bigger piece. Just gonna take it and blow on it. Right here. That's probably good enough. I'll go for a while now. I'll just burn all the way through that. Probably be good for a few hours. Okay, so while we were walking, we found this can. It's dented and empty. See, dented and empty. But we're gonna try to refill it and uncrush the can. So. There we go. And now, it's full. Tastes like diet.
When we were on our way to find the frogs, we found this little, it's like a little mud hole here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this cattail that we got and wring it out. We didn't get a lot of roots on them. Didn't really dig deep enough for it, but the deeper that you dig, get some nice roots out of it. We're going to go ahead and just rinse this off. By the way, these teeth on here, they look like dog teeth. These are edible. I'll save them for tonight though. But we got some pretty decent roots here. And those are going to be good. So, all right, so we were on our way back and collected our cattails, walked down to where the puddle was, which isn't very far away from the cattails, and decided to go back and see if we couldn't find where that little pond was. And so coming back to the cattails, we did happen to find some water, and if you look at this water, it's moving. So with the water moving, that tells me there's a good chance of a stream down at the other side. So I'm going to continue to follow this, myself and Aaron, down to the end. See if we can't, over here towards the end of it, we got a funnel effect. I'm going to see if that doesn't come together to find us ourselves a stream or a creek or something. Sure enough, here we are. And there is like a creek coming off. And
as you can see, it's moving. This is very doable. I'd still probably boil my water, but we've got water, and good news is it's not real far away from our campsite. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fill up our cans, take it back, and maybe have some scurvy tea. I see that we have some cedar here right behind us, so maybe we'll grab some leaves from the cedar and grab some water, and now we've got it made. So it's going to be a good day.